The cell. Our short discussion today is based on the cell. Definition. A cell is a basic unit of structure and function of life, or a living organism. The structures of a cell determine its function or functions. Cells are basically divided into two types, or they're basically in two types. We've got eukaryotic cells and prokaryotic cells. Eukaryotic cells are found in plants, animals, fungus, and protists, while prokaryotic cells are found in bacteria. Therefore DNA in prokaryotic cells is usually circular, and in eukaryotic cells it's linear, and it's linear, and it's actually in pieces of very large molecules that we call chromosomes. Ribosomes in prokaryotic cells are small. In eukaryotic cells they are large. They're larger, therefore they're relatively larger to these. Cell division in prokaryotic cells is by binary division, while in eukaryotic cells it's in two types, therefore mitosis and meiosis. Mitosis and meiosis. Organization. Prokaryotic cells usually exist as single cell, therefore bacteria always has just one cell, that's all, while eukaryotic cells may be single-celled or unicellular, or even multicellular, like in larger organisms like plants and animals, and including fungus. Chloroplast. Chloroplast is absent in prokaryotic cells, but it's present in plants and algae. Therefore eukaryotic cells may have chloroplasts, those which belong to algae and plants. Mitochondria. It is absent in prokaryotic cells but present in eukaryotic cells, and very few may not have mitochondria. Maybe, for example, we may talk over phloem cells. They may not have mitochondria because they lose most of their organelles. Nucleus. The nucleus in prokaryotic cells is said to be untrue or not true because it's not membrane bound. DNA just floats around the cytoplasm. It is circular and just floats around the cytoplasm. While here DNA, of course, it's in linear molecules we call chromosomes, and it is membrane bound. It is membrane bound in a double membrane or envelope, the nuclear envelope. Therefore the nucleus here is said to be true in eukaryotic cells. An example of a prokaryotic cell, the bacteria may not always appear like this because they've got different shapes, therefore resulting into different ways of classifying them, but basically that's an example of a prokaryotic cell. We're not going to look at prokaryotic cells that much, but we're just going to use them as a relation before we can start looking at eukaryotic cells. So this is just an example of eukaryotic cells, but as you go on to study microbiology, you may actually study these particles, including virus particles. These are actually cells. It's the viruses that are particles. So skip this and do not explain too much. Examples of eukaryotic cells. There we have an animal cell and a plant cell, and those are the parts: lysosomes, vesicles, rough ER, smooth ER, cell membrane, cytoplasm, ribosomes, centrioles, nucleus, Golgi apparatus or complex, mitochondria. Even here we've got vesicles, the tonoplast, that's the name for the membrane that binds the vacuole. Then you've got the vacuole itself, chloroplast, mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, therefore cell surface membrane, and then cell wall. Basically these are two examples of eukaryotic cells coming from the animal and plant species or organisms. Functions of eukaryotic cell. Organelles. An organelle is a membrane bound structure that performs a function inside a cell. And an organelle is a membrane bound structure that performs a specific function in a cell. Therefore that's the definition of an organelle, because I've not written it here. So I'll run through some common or major organelles that you're likely to come across when you study cells. Therefore eukaryotic cells. Nucleus. It controls all cell activities. It is the site for ribosome synthesis and also RNA synthesis, but basically it controls all cell activities. Rough ER. Modifies and packages proteins into vesicles. Called rough ER because it has got ribosomes on it. Ribosomes synthesize proteins, therefore this is the reason why rough ER is capable of modifying proteins. It packages the proteins and then releases them in vesicles within the cell. Smooth ER. Attached to rough ER, they are usually one, modifies lipids and carbohydrates and packages them into vesicles. Therefore, smooth ER is smooth because it doesn't have ribosomes on its surface. Golgi body, also called Golgi apparatus or complex, Golgi complex or Golgi apparatus, modifies and packages substances like proteins into vesicles for export out of the cell. It modifies substances, for example proteins, and exports them outside the cell. Ribosomes, they are involved in protein synthesis. Chloroplast contains chlorophyll which carries out photosynthesis, only found in plants and algae. Chloroplasts are found in plants and algae. Mitochondria, they are referred to as the powerhouse of the cell because they are the site for respiration, which is a reaction which uses energy in the cell. Cytoskeleton, these are microtubules and microfilaments which aid or help in the maintenance of the cell shape. They act as the cell skeleton, therefore they are referred to as cytoskeleton. Cytosol, the cytosol is also known as cytoplasm. It is a jelly-like fluid which is a site for cell reactions. It's a site where reactions take place in the cell, and it also holds all organelles. All organelles are suspended in the cytosol or cytoplasm. Cell membrane, a selectively permeable membrane which holds the cytosol and all its contents. The cell membrane is selectively permeable, therefore it allows some things to pass through and does not allow some things to pass through. The only substance that can pass through a cell membrane freely is water. Water is a very small molecule, therefore it's capable of passing through the cell membrane without any restrictions. Vacuole, only found in animals, and if present, only found in plants, and if present in animal cells, they're usually very, very small and temporal. It is a storage site in the cell, and its contents are usually referred to as sap. It may be water, starch, oil, etc. Cell wall, the cell wall present only in plant cells. It's a hard shell. It's a hard shell made of cellulose that maintains cell shape and prevents the cells from bursting if they take up too much water. Therefore, the cell wall helps to maintain the cell shape, therefore to add to the strength of a plant for it to remain standing upright, and also prevent cell bursting if the cell was to take up too much water. Centrioles, involved in cell division. Okay, in plants they are called microtubule organizing centers. Therefore, in animals we call them centrioles. In plants they are called microtubule organizing centers, and they perform the same function. Lysosome, present in animals, are a site for digestion. Therefore, they have enzymes. Lysosomes are only present in animal cells, and they are a site for digestion in the cell because they have enzymes. Intracellular digestion. Cell specialization. I only have two cells there, but the definition, or what I can explain about specialization, is that cell specialization is important for the achievement of various functions by various cells in an organism. Sorry, I wrote "and" there, but in an organism. Cell specialization is a case where cells take up different shapes during development, and as they take up different structures or develop different structures and take up different shapes, they actually become adapted to perform specific functions. Therefore, in this part here, in this slide here, I'm having the sperm cell there, and then the sperm cell comes from the animal cells. Remember, the sperm cell is the only cell which has got flagella in the animal kingdom. The only cell which has got flagella. Most cells that have got flagella are prokaryotic cells. There's some parts there. The parts will actually come out as we look at the cells in their specific topics, but this is the sperm cell. Its function is actually to bring about or to fuse with an oocyte or egg to bring about fertilization and development of a zygote. Therefore, that's its function. Its shape is specifically meant for it to achieve its function. The gut cells, these are found in plants, mostly in leaves, on the under part of the leaf. That's why they are commonly found. They are sausage-shaped cells, as you can see them, and their function is to open and close stomata. One is called a stoma. Stoma or stomates are actually holes under a leaf that act as a site for gaseous exchange, and also they act as passages for water as the plant loses water in the effort to cool itself. So when gut cells swell, when they swell, they simply bring about the closure of stomata. When they become flaccid, or when they lose their turgidity, they bring about the effect of opening of stomata. Therefore, that's their function. Their shape brings about their specialization in terms of function. There are many cells, and you discover that when you check them out, you discover that their structures and their shapes are closely related to their functions. Tissue are groups of specialized cells which will carry out a particular function. A lot of cells of the same structure which work together to achieve the same function. Examples are muscle tissue, blood tissue, nerve tissue, and those are examples in animals. In plants, you've got vascular tissue and palisade tissue. Their functions are actually there in the brackets. And also, apart from those two, you've got root tissue. All of them are specialized to do the same function. Next slide. Organs. Organs are made up of several types of tissue grouped together. For example, the small intestine is made up of muscle tissue, connective tissue, epithelial lining tissue, and also nerve tissue to control its actions or functions. Therefore, a number of tissue or specified tissue or numbers of tissue come together to simply create or form an organ. Organs can carry out specific functions due to the large variety of specialized cells within them. Other examples of animal organs are the heart, which pumps blood in the circulatory system, the lungs, which actually site for gaseous exchange in the gaseous exchange system or respiratory system, the liver. Its functions are many, but some of them are simply blood storage, detoxification, production of red blood cells in babies. Therefore, this RBC is actually red blood cells in babies. But as people grow up, this function of production of red blood cells goes to the red bone marrow found in the Exoskeleton. Examples of plant organs are leaves. They act as a site for photosynthesis, gaseous exchange, and also a site where plants get to lose water, which brings about cooling for the plant. Roots. Their function is to anchor the plant into soil and also absorb water, which also comes as a solution or in solution with mineral salts. Flowers, they are also organs in plants, and their function are simply to be reproductive organs. Summary of cell organization. I began by bringing out a number of organelles that are found in plants, and I defined an organelle or organelles as membrane-bound structures that perform specific functions in a cell. A group of organs make a cell. A group of cells or similar cells make what we call tissue. Different types of tissue compose or make up an organ. A group of organs make up a system. And a group of systems make up an organism. A group of organisms make up a community. A group of communities, therefore different types of organisms, whether they are bacteria, whether they are plants, whether they are algae, whether they are fungus or animals, they make up what we call a community. A group of community make up what an ecosystem, what we call an ecosystem, and a group of ecosystems make up what we call a biome. A biome. So in short, you can use this acronym: organelle, cell, tissue, organ, system, organism, community, ecosystem. That is it for now, and I hope it was helpful in some way. Remember to subscribe and leave your comments for me to simply get back to you and see where I should improve or what I should discuss on next time. Till next time, thank you very much, and bye bye.